Yes, there's a dog in this video. Yes, the dog is cute. I'll give you some time now to admire the dog, and then we'll move on.
Begin admiring dog. Admiration complete.
Some of you may be confused who this dog is in the first place, while others already know his story. For those who don't know about the dog, it's likely because you're not in the speedrunning community. This little pupper is PB, and is owned by James, who's known better online as JSR on Twitch and YouTube. PB is a speedrunning dog who has competed at many different speedrunning competitions alongside JSR. That's also how PB got his name, personal best. Recently, PB and JSR completed their most recent speedrun together at the Summer Games Done Quick event. Together, they completed Major League Baseball for the SNES with a time of 29 minutes and 48 seconds.
Lineup. Excellent chance to take it up. Go!
Yeah! Good boy!
You did it!
Walk
home run! Oh my God! They said a dog couldn't do it, but he's proved everybody wrong.
How foolish we were!
For those in the speedrunning community, it seems as though there's two sides. Those who enjoy speedrunning a game, and those who enjoy watching. I've seen some speedrunning events here and there, and while they are fun to watch, I was still confused about speedrunning as a whole and the community. So, rather than simply reading about it online, I reached out to JSR in hopes of learning more about what speedrunning is.
My name is James. I go by JSR on Twitch. I just hit my 8-year streamiversary last month. So I've been doing this for 8 years. With speedrunning, it's kind of like taking this game and trying to figure out not just, go as fast as you can, but what options are available to you in order to go faster. Sometimes it's as simple as just be good at the game. But a lot of games in speedrunning have glitches, tricks, strategies, we call them strats, and other things that come up which change the dynamic.
So let's take a step back. Speedrunning is, at its core, completing a game as quickly as possible. In most cases, when someone is speedrunning a game, this is what they're trying to do. Many mark the beginning of speedrunning with Doom from 1993. With a game that encourages players to go quick, Doom seemed like a perfect place to start. At first, these competitions started amongst friends trying to complete certain levels or the entire game as quickly as they could. Over time, with more games coming out and speedrunners learning about different strategies, the speedrunning community began to grow. Once speedrunners were able to share their runs online, there was no stopping this community. YouTube and Twitch also helps, as the community could now talk more with each other in the hopes of working together to get the best time on a game. I was recommended by JSR to check out a website called speedrun.com. Not the most creative name for a website, but it did shed a lot more light on how intense speedrunning can be for these players. Let's take a look at a game that we're all aware of, Minecraft. Looking over these times, it's clear just how much planning and strategy has to go into consideration before even doing a speedrun of the game. Now, as I've been talking about, there is the classic speedrun, where players reach the game as quickly as possible, doing whatever they can to reach that end. But taking a closer look at this website, there's way more different ways players can qualify. With Minecraft alone, you have to consider what version you're playing on, what seed if there is one, if you're using glitches, if you're going for any achievements. There are way more ways for people to speedrun than simply playing the game normally. Regardless of what game you play or what way you play it, the people at the top of these lists are beating records within seconds of each other. While exploring this website and learning a bit more about speedrunning, I also noticed that many of these games are, how do I say this politely, old? Don't get me wrong though, there's plenty of modern games out there that have tons of active players in it. Celeste and Pizza Tower have some of the highest, but then there's also Super Mario 64 and Lego Star Wars. If you go online and look up speedruns, chances are you'll come across these kinds of games. But why?
Why would somebody play a game that's that old, even though they're that young? It's the challenge and the thrill of a speedrun. It's the idea of picking up a game that wasn't designed to be beaten quickly and beating it quickly. Retro games, I feel like they are more in tune with what makes a speedrun fun.
JSR is absolutely right here. The amount of Mario speedruns that are being done. On the first page of speedrun.com, there are 8 Mario games on it, and that's not even including the extra category runs. But when you really look at these games and what make them so popular to speedrun, it can be narrowed down to just a few things. First, and I feel like this is best seen in these kinds of Mario games, they're easy to control and the objectives are simple. Super Mario Odyssey is a popular game to speedrun because you're able to run around and move in an open and freeing environment. Meanwhile, the controls of Celeste are simple. Sure, Celeste is a bit more difficult than Odyssey, but once you practice each level and know what comes next, it becomes so much easier. The objectives are also really easy to understand, whether it's getting from point A to point B or collecting certain items. These retro games also already have a large audience behind them. Many grew up playing Super Mario 64, so they know about the glitches and techniques to do in order to skip major parts of the game. Newer speedrunners can learn what's already been done in the community and improve upon it with their own run. And when you look at the top games to speedrun right now, you see the same trend of simple controls and simple objectives. What makes them challenging is mastering these controls and knowing exactly what to do. Speaking of these audiences and the community as a whole, look, there is not a single community out there without its flaws. There's always going to be some bad apples. Unfortunately, there's some members in the speedrunning community who make it seem as though that's the way the entire community is. It can really damage both how the game itself and speedrunning as a whole is viewed. What's important to remember though is that there are so many people within this community. One person can't and shouldn't represent the whole. When it comes to the community as a whole, it's clear that it is extremely friendly and open to anyone interested.
There's a lot of controversial takes about the type of person that speedruns. There's a lot of people who tend to click up into different friend groups and types of folks. And that's not a speedrunning quirk necessarily. You see that in every walk of life, right? But I think there's a lot of people who think that's like a speedrunning trait. There's a lot of things like that. You'll see it all over like websites like Reddit and 4chan and like, it's like, no, bro, that's just part of speedrunning, just like that's part of all walks of life. There are some phenomenal people in speedrunning who are community driven, they are helpful, they want to help new runners and veteran speedrunners. I can't speak for them all, but for myself, I genuinely find pleasure in helping a new runner to learn a game I know. Because it's not only passing my knowledge on to somebody so that they can play a game, but you're giving back a little bit.
There are groups everywhere for those who speedrun. Discord, Facebook, hey, even check out your local area. Chances are that you have a small group in your community full of people who enjoy speedrunning. Alright, I've been stalling enough. Now it's time for a bit more of PB. Now, I've been following JSR and PB's journey since the start of this year. It was actually during my time writing for this video about the kid who beat Tetris that I began to learn more about this speedrunning dog. JSR explained that PB's training was actually kind of similar to those of other speedrunners. Granted, there were more treats involved for PB, but in both cases, players and PB both had to determine the best timing for certain actions and how to control the game well.
I started with just basic obedience training, right? And he picked up on it so quick. Within the first month I had him, he got all of his basic obedience training down. Sit, stay, leave it, come, lay down, go to your bed. At first I was like, okay, this is a really special dog. I'm gonna teach him how to do agility training or something like that, you know? But I never got around to it, and then the gyromite thing happened. And when I tried it and he did it, I had this epiphany that like, this is a special dog. Regardless if it'll ever do anything like this or even more, whatever, you know, like I knew that this was something I had to at least try, at least give it a shot. And if I fail, it's no sweat off my back. It's a little bit of time and a controller. I'm just so happy that I went after this, and I'm just so lucky that I chose to do this with a dog like Peanut Butter, because he's a one-of-a-kind dog. He's very special.
And if you haven't seen any of PB's own speedruns online, please go look them up. They're just incredible to watch. When it comes to speedrunning, there are so many great places to start. Maybe you want to pick up a game you played from your childhood, or a game you've been enjoying recently, but what matters is that you put in the work. Training a dog is difficult work, but trying to have a dog speedrun is so much harder. There will be times when things are difficult, but stories like JSR and PB show that it can be done.
If you or anyone else out there wants to speedrun, don't tell yourself you can't do it. Have fun with it. And just challenge yourself a little bit. Take a small step forward and see how it feels. You know, everybody took their first steps. Everybody took their first swim. Speedrunning is difficult, but it shouldn't be scary. A lot of people say they're intimidated by it. There's no reason to be intimidated by it. What's the worst that could happen? You turn the game off, you walk away, you go back to your life. You know, have fun with video games, because that's what they're there for. Even in this type of competition or competitive medium, like, it's still there to have fun. If you're not having fun, then ask yourself why you're doing it. It's a game. Even when you're doing a speedrun, even if it's a dog playing, it's still just a video game. Enjoy it.
Speedrunning takes skill. It takes commitment. But it also takes a positive attitude. As with anything, the moment something stops being fun and bringing you joy, it can negatively impact your view on life. Speedrunning isn't just about completing a game fast. It's a way for people to share their love of gaming and be involved in a positive and welcoming community.
Minnesota, you've seen the best thing you'll ever see in your life. Make some noise.
Amazing job by PB. Oh, what a good boy.
It's so good.
Oh.
And that's why I'd like to announce that in the future, I will be attempting my first ever speedrun. After talking a bit more to JSR after our interview together, I decided that I would take some time to do a speedrun of my own and become a player in the community, rather than just a viewer. So to learn more about speedrunning, be sure to subscribe and keep an eye out for that video. Honestly, this was so much fun. I absolutely loved learning about speedrunning from JSR and asking him these questions. He was so great to talk to, and I was so excited to do this with him. You can check out JSR on his YouTube and Twitch channel, both of which are on screen now and in the description of this video, along with his website, where you can learn more about JSR and PB's history in speedrunning. And if you want to check out the full interview that we did together, you can find that in the description as well. In it, we talk about JSR, his own involvement within the speedrunning community, and how he was able to train a dog to do some of these incredible feats. Now, that's just what I think about speedrunning, but what about you? Have you ever attempted a speedrun of your own? Let me know in the comments. Anyway guys, thank you for watching this video, and remember to chase the chaos.